Silavut, Atlannuraqtuq, our changing weather. Follow us through a journey across northwestern Alaska, where we discuss the effects of climate change felt by the residents who've called this place home for 10,000 years. These are regular people like you and me, not scientists or researchers. Rather, they're hunters, gatherers, berry pickers, dog mushers, and residents of the very tribes on the front lines of climate change. Those interviewed rely on the land and environment to sustain them for food, safety, transportation, and shelter. In Northwest Alaska, a gallon of fresh milk costs upward of $18, and a gallon of gas costs $12. Hunting, gathering, and living a subsistence lifestyle is not an option. It's a necessity to survive. You will see and feel the impacts of climate change all around us, from babies to grandparents. For some, it's simply an inconvenience. For others, it means not feeding your family because the caribou migration has changed so drastically, or the ice is not safe enough to gather the bearded seal. Subsistence is not simply a cultural event to be passed down. It is an economic necessity, which is being threatened significantly by our changing weather. Kotzebue, or Kikikdaruk, translates to almost an island. It is a peninsula on a peninsula on a peninsula. Kotzebue is the hub of Northwest Alaska and is known as the gateway to the Arctic. Kotzebue is a coastal city located at the terminus of 3 major rivers and the Kotzebue Sound. The Sound serves as a safe harbor for shipping vessels because of its location away from the Chukchi Sea. Kotzebue is 549 air miles from Anchorage. Of the 3,500 residents, 71% are Inupiaq. Global warming trends combined with the coastal location of Kotzebue make Kotzebue's weather more temperate than anywhere else in northwestern Alaska. Even though Kotzebue is located above the Arctic Circle, it sometimes snows in July and rains in January.
My name is John Baker. I grew up here in Kotzebue. I've been here all my life. And I've been running dogs here for 20 years. Well, years ago when I first started, I was able to run the dogs every day, all year long. It was cool enough. This year I started running the 1st of September, and I'm having to run them only early in the morning because it's so warm.
My name is Kaligo. My given name is Ray Kape. Born and raised here in Kotzebue most of my life. Yeah, I've noticed, that the seasons are getting shorter, especially the winter season. So I had to plan my trips around that. There are times when I've gone up there during my normal times, but then it starts to melt earlier and quicker.
My name is Vera Norton. I'm here from Kotzebue, and I've been here 43 years. I've been picking berries since I was maybe 6 years old with my Anna.
My name is John David Garut. I've lived here since 1980. I went in the military and I came back, and then I moved in with my wife's family, and we were living a subsistence lifestyle, and the beach was so long we would unload the big homemade wooden boat and then move everything up on the beach and then bring it in the house. It was so long. But now you can practically just unload the boat right into your house almost. So the beach has disappeared.
Well, I'm afraid of it making a significant impact. I'm not sure what it's going to look like later in the year, but starting this late, this is the latest that I've ever started to train them.
And I've noticed that ever since I was born, or come to the age of reasoning, that the winter months were longer, they were colder, and the ice was a lot thicker.
I'm starting later, and I'm finishing way earlier. I'm finishing a month earlier.
It wasn't unusual when it'd break up, to see like about 10, 12, 14-foot ice move out. Now, I wouldn't dare walk on it.
For the last couple of years, I noticed berries were starting to come out a lot sooner than usual, the weight. And we've been having kind of warm ending of the fall, so we were still picking cranberries.
We used to pretty much go on Labor Day weekend on the calendar, and we would go up to Onion Portage, and we would load up with caribou or moose or both and come back down. So lately, you go up on Labor Day weekend and they're not there.
Well, for the activity of working with the dogs, I'm just going to have to plan on a much shorter year, half the year. A 6-month season instead of what I was doing before.
Not enjoyable as it used to be because there used to be a lot of ice out there. But now I can't even plan when to go out Uyghur country because I, don't know when to go out there or when it's safe to go out there.
For the last couple years here, there have been less ukpiks here, so we would have to travel elsewhere to pick the ukpiks here.
It's amazing. The breedings are much later than they once were. The puppies are just now being born. Normally the puppies should be tied up by now, and this year they're just now being born.
The ice varies from year to year, and it was starting that way, that trend, like about 10, 12 years ago, when I first noticed, that the days are getting longer, the winters are getting shorter, and they're not as severe as it used to be. When there's no ice out there, there's no base to go by. So, and besides the ice in this bay, once it melts and goes, it's gone.
It's climate change.
And the weather has changed so drastically. Even in the last few years, we've had pouring rain in December. I remember it rained in November, rained in January, and sprinkled in February.
I'm not sure. It has to be something to do with Mother Nature. I have 3 litters on the ground within 2 weeks.
And especially, it is pretty hard for, to plan your hunts to start putting away food for the winter.
The ice doesn't start to freeze out here like it used to, and we don't know anymore when it's actually going to freeze up solid.
For me, that's what I noticed the most, is I've set my schedule around running my dogs, so I noticed the schedule being undoubtedly changed over the last 20 years. It's definitely a shorter season, and especially in the spring I noticed that I have to be off the ice much sooner.
We used to have almost like a farmer's almanac. You could plan your dates of what you were going to be doing and do it, and things worked out. But now dates have rotated around the calendar, and we don't know what's going to happen and when it's going to happen or where it's going to happen.
I can remember times when I was thinking, wow, we're going to have winter back to back. Okay. Because, it was easy to look out the window and predict the weather. Now you can't.
In fact, in October, we used to go on the north end of town. We'd go out on the ice and we would be ice fishing in October. And here it's almost October, and there's still boats and people running around like it's almost summer.
Well, I've noticed that living on the beach here in Kotzebue is a wonderful place to live, where when I was a kid it was terrible, it was cold. Now I'm sitting out here enjoying it every day.
The freeze-up is starting later than normal. When I was growing up, it's not unusual, for the ice to start freezing over after Labor Day. But now, it don't freeze over until November.
I'm enjoying it warming up, because being out with the dogs when it's really cold sometimes is really tough. So as I get older, it's kind of nice to be in warm weather.
This is a life that we used to know, things that we used to do, and we can't do that anymore. That time has come and gone. Now we're in the middle of the change. I don't know what we're going to do. but I know that things need to be done to help preserve what we have left.
Norvik, or Nurvik, is located on the south bank of the Atlannuraqtuq channel of the Kobuk River. It's 42 air miles from Kotzebue. About 30 miles downriver from Norvik is the 1.7 million acre Kobuk Valley National Park. 88% of the 634 residents are Inupiaq Eskimo. Atlannuraqtuq School hosts 190 students from K through 12th grade. Local employers are the borough, school district, city, tribe, and health clinic. Norvik translates to a place that is moved to in Inupiaq. The people moved there from Deering in the early 1900s.
I've been here since 1986 and I've never heard of anybody going through within the month of May until my son Homer went through.
The only thing I could remember was hearing my sister Effie say, "Hurry up, run to him, run to him." Just telling them to run faster. Then I didn't remember anything after that.
The way our climate's been, our weather's been changing, we just got to learn to adapt. That's how I've been showing them. So we just got to adapt to that.
I had to break ice from like maybe 5 feet just to get to the solid ice.
We're getting more early springs and more later falls, and it's really affecting our migration down our caribou.
I am happy to be here. It's amazing that I made it to the incident.
About 5 years ago, we used to go before October, first part of October. Now you got to wait till last week of October now. 5 years ago, we be able to go. No more. Too thin.
The fish are going down light even. I mean, not much. And the river is getting shallow too. That's why, I guess. Because when I'm growing up, it was real deep. Deep river.
It was no good feeling, especially almost losing my dad's snuggle. We got it out, that's the awesome part.
We were at camp last week and my auntie even noticed, look, more trees are coming out. There never used to be trees here. A lot of more trees.
I mean, when it's too hot, they can't grow much. And when they grow, they always be real small. Not just like when we're growing up.
2 years in a row now, it's hard to find blueberries. You have to go and go and go. Not like before. Like akpiks, right? Akpiks, you got to catch them early now because the sun will cook them up. If you don't get them right away, they're gone, done. Our river's even widening more and more because of erosion, and that's due to the warm weather too. So yeah, everybody's just being more careful now. Got to just be careful. Wait till it's good ice. Maybe about 10 years ago, we'd still be getting ready to get the boats out without it being in water. It never even flooded this year, just go right to the edge. Normally it goes all the way to the road up here. And that's 5 years now it's been like that. Too warm, melts too fast. He thought it was glare ice, and because when we went over there, his snow machine tracks had no brakes at all, just went straight through. Too thin right there, maybe because of warm weather again. I don't know. Hard to explain that. But that's what I think. Warm weather. And normally it would be thicker on that time. Hard to say though. Them old people tell me when I was so young, watch, your climate's gonna change, your weather's gonna change. You guys gotta learn to adapt. So that's what we're doing, year by year.
Deering, or Ipnachaq, is on the southern coastline of the Kotzebue Sound, situated directly at the mouth of the Inmachuk River. Deering is 60 air miles from Kotzebue and is a mere 7 feet above sea level. Deering floods every spring. Deering is known for its rogue herd of muskox that frequently knocks over grave markers and lie on the runway sunning themselves. The mixed economy has a strong emphasis on subsistence, with many of the local hunters going out for bearded seal and caribou each year.
July, we still had ice here yet. Maybe the 60s and 70s. We still had a lot of ice back then. Now today it's middle of June and all the ice is gone.
We used to go out like in July, and now the ice just goes out faster every year and breaks up faster. It's getting too hot out. Ice is really thin too.
It seems like there's hardly any snow no more. When it comes summertime, we have to look for berries, especially the salmon epic berries. They're hard to find now.
What, 40 years ago, where the snow would be maybe a one-story high snowbank in a lot of places after a month-long storm.
Just to give you an example about that, June 12th, 1986 was the latest I ever came back from my spring camp on a snow machine. But June 12th this year, you know, just 30 years later, shoot, there's guys boating around out there instead of using snow machines, you know, so in a period of roughly 30 years, you know, it's changed in my lifetime.
Last part of March and early April, because usually they don't leave till in May. But this year they left 1 month early. That's how much the weather has been changing up here.
You can tell, like, when you drive up to it, you can see how thin it is. This year, me and my friend actually shot an ogre, and we tried to walk to it, but we couldn't get to it because the ice was so rotten.
Then that ocean out here would have snow from the storms. Now it doesn't.
When I was growing up, we used to have big snowbanks in our village. We would have to go over. Now there's nothing, seems like.
Well, it's not as thick as it used to be for sure, you know, I mean, it's disappearing really. At one time, about that same time, I guess, you'd be able to ride back and forth to Kotzebue on a snow machine. I mean, straight across and back there, but because of open water now, you know, can't even do that anymore.
You could see it on when you're out hunting egrets. That even the food what they eat, it's early for them to be eating shrimp. Up here in the Arctic, because the shrimp don't usually go up till summertime. But a lot of times when you clean their stomach from the egrets, you see a lot of shrimp in their stomach already. That's early.
Kids want to go swimming already. We usually don't go swimming till after 4th of July. But it's pretty hot out now.
I've asked the local woman, you know, have you found out it's easier to cross the river to get to berries on the other side now than it's been in the past? And they almost one say yes.
March, April, and the beginning of May, you know, 'cause they have that snow and the hard surface for the young ones to run to get away from like wolves and bears. This year it's early, they have nowhere to run. So we see a lot of our little muskox getting eaten by bears and wolves because they can't run because of the tundra. The tundra is already melted.
Kind of seems like it's affecting us now. Not as much ice and just natives, hot summers.
I didn't believe in global warming, but I do now. It's different weather. The weather is different.
We're getting rockfish up here now that we never caught before. There's sharks going north of us. We've never seen sharks up here before.
Crossing the river almost anywhere, you know, because of it depleting, I think, is what's scaring the hell out of me too, you know, because if that dries up, there goes the fish, and chances are it'd be the end of this town.
Yeah. It's different. It's changing, but we have to adapt to it. And that's the only thing that we have to deal with today. We adapt to it or we lose it.
Shungnak, or Isingnak, is located on a bluff on the west bank of the Kobuk River, 150 air miles east of Kotzebue. 94% of the 262 residents are Inupiaq Eskimo. The residents who work year-round do so for the borough, school district, city, tribe, Maniluk, as well as the stores and a lodge. Seasonally, the mining operations near Shungnak as well as firefighting jobs are available as well. Residents also make birch bark baskets, bone masks, mukluks, parkas, fur hats, and mittens.
15 years ago, to me, everything was slower than what it is today. Today, it's like everything is in a rush.
When I go down last night, when the sun go down, I see they're already get old, some of them. Too hot. Some of them will have nothing to pick. It go fast. This spring is really fast spring.
Like the caribou migration, like this year, we hardly saw any this fall. Back then they would be all over the place, like right back here behind the village. And even sometimes some would run right through the villages. That's how close they were. Now we got to go long distance.
On the last day of hunting, which is June 10th, the leaves are way smaller than this still, because it would be cooler. Now they're almost full-grown leaves. It's only June 3rd.
Normally we wouldn't worry about boating or fishing till this month. But here we were doing it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And water's real high, melt real quick.
This spring we had an early spring. And the snow melted right away. We didn't have the river didn't go over the banks as far as flooding. That was unusual. This is the second or third time I've seen that in my lifetime.
Well, it's not like that before. When we were camp up there springtime too, year-round. It's way different now. Too hot, even sun. The sun is really hot.
It's been warmer. The ice even went earlier than before, and the leaves start popping out real fast in May.
The other day at camp, I noticed I'd look at where the sun is setting, and it's not setting where it used to. You know, from 15 years ago, you could see it setting, and then now it's over. It's not setting in the normal place.
With hardly any snow, there was some places we had hard time getting to. You know, our hunting grounds. Without that snow we usually have, it was hard. We'd take a different route. We still get there, but we take a different route.
Well, some of them is burned already. When I go down last night, some of them already start to dying because too dry, no rain.
I never did peel in May, and end of May I peel birch.
The river was so low, our salmon started to die off, and they were all over the beaches.
Back here, years ago, the river was not as wide as it is now, and in the springtime when the ice goes out, and because it's been so warm during the summer, we're starting to lose a lot of real estate.
My sister called me yesterday from Kobuk, and first time she see fish jumping in that eddy right there in front Kobuk. She's surprised why the fish is jumping right now so early.
It was early fall, and then everybody get a lot of fish, and then later on it get warmer and spoil the fish, all the fish.
All the hunters seem to be going, luckily they're snowmobiles, which makes it a little easier, farther and farther away from here. They're going up to Buckland area to hunt when they could go in their backyard, and they're not here now.
Because of the water rushing underneath and eating away, and the permafrost thawing out. We've been losing it. It's falling down into the river. And our rivers are getting wider and shallower.
We noticed that our moose has declined. Usually we'd have lots all along the riverbanks. This year we hardly see any.
But when we see it's changing too early, and it's get clear right away, and then after fall start raining again or something.
It's dwindling. There's less and less.
Yeah.
Every time we go out and set a net and check it, there's less fish.
We never boated in October. And last fall we were boating right up into the second week of October. And it'll be pretty soon, we'll be boating at Christmas time and Thanksgiving, you know.
Something changed their migration and they hardly had caribou up that way. So I think it was global warming right there.
Back in the past, we'd know when to set a net, what time of the year, and now it's different. We have to go and try earlier, get more debris, no fish, don't know where or when anymore.
If it keeps going like this, everything will change.
The berries were all shriveled up here because it was so hot and dry. We missed them, you know. And it's a very, very short season for the berries nowadays if you do see them out there. And it's getting harder and harder to find them.
Everything is getting fast. The days is changing.
Jesus ageki siruk. Aku krutnik imigaglugu. Ukpik shoti sitnik aku tugaglugich ariga. Ariga, ariga, ariga nunakshak isiktungi. Apkutak komariksuk ariga nunakshak kesanga.